So, I just watched the film Inception for the first time since seeing it in theater. Yeah, that's a long time ago. I think it's been about 15 years now. Inception was sometime around 2010, 11 in that range. 14, 15 years, I believe. Um I do not watch movies at home. I have a really big collection of Blu-rays and DVDs and 4K, and it's all like my favorite movies. Like movies I absolutely love. Entire series of movies I absolutely love. I have even a small stack of anime that I really love. I just do not watch movies at home. The experience of watching a film, to me, it's something you go do. You go to the theater, you experience it on the big screen, the sound in the dark, like there's an event status to it. If a film cannot get me to go to the theater to see it, I'm highly unlikely to see it at any point, right? If I did see a movie, in particular if I saw it multiple times, but even then, if I saw a movie and I really liked it, it becomes a favorite of mine, I will buy it. I love collecting, and I definitely like to own these things in a physical format. However, I just don't watch them. When I'm at home, I prefer to turn on YouTube if I'm going to sit on my phone and do something, or if I'm going to game, which is more common. If I'm going to play video games, I'm doing that on the TV, and I have YouTube on my phone listening to something, whether it's music or a video, a podcast, whatever. Other times I'm working out, doing other activities and whatnot, and my time off. So I don't like to just sit and watch movies unless I have company to do it with, and I haven't had that for a long time. So to me, it's like a waste of time. I had the best version of seeing that film. That experience was in the theater, and at home it doesn't really do anything for me, except for I'm gonna feel like I could be doing something else. Anyways, in this case, I went over to my mom's, and she had just started Inception a little bit before, and I ended up sitting down to eat and just watch the movie with her, and I was just blown away by how amazing this film is. And it's crazy because these days there's just so few films that seem to do that. I know that there's some really good ones out there, and obviously there's a few that I've seen, right? But when it comes to things that truly have like a mind-bending concept, that have an incredible cast, like every single cast member for Inception was perfect, and they were amazing in the role. And the writing and execution, the cinematography, everything about the movie it's a masterpiece. It's a modern masterpiece of a film. And that's the majority of the Nolan-verse, to be honest. I mean, from Batman Begins to The Dark Knight Rises, Inception, Interstellar. I have not seen Tenet yet. I actually would really like to see that. But again, that would take me deciding to sit down and watch something at home. So that probably isn't going to happen. Not not when I'm by myself and I could just turn on my Xbox or something. But it's such an incredible movie, and it manages to have action, intrigue, to kind of make you think about things, to explore a really crazy, incredible concept that, movies had probably done before, but not on this level and not this well. To truly take something that we probably have all thought about at some point and expand on it the way that Inception did. The idea of like inhabiting dreams and then falling further and further into dream worlds, and the fact that, we all dream and it'll seem like it's been hours, but really it's been probably 30 seconds of real time. That whole concept, and just turning that into a way for these characters to essentially be in like parallel universes, just different layers down within the dreamscape. Anyways, I just wanted to talk about that. Like, just an incredible experience. There were moments where you have tears because of the emotional connections of the characters and what they're going through. And when the entire concept wraps up at the end, you're just sitting there, you're watching that totem, the top sit there and spin and begin to wobble, and you're just left to think about it. And I just absolutely love that. It's so rare in films anymore. The NFL Pro Bowl has not been the same for a long time, in particular since the fan vote seems to have been given a lot more weight than anything else. I do remember there was a time back in, this is my lifetime here, back in the 2000s when you could vote online. You could create a ballot picking your top players and then like your second level, things like that. And it counted for something, but primarily these were guys that were like all pros, dudes that had an impact, guys that actually mattered. You would see a Pro Bowl, and on the AFC side, you'd have guys like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers. These guys would be like your first, second, third, fourth quarter guys. In the NFC, you'd have like Drew Brees or Donovan McNabb or Matt Ryan. You had guys that were relevant and literally the best guys. And the team around them, the running backs, the receivers, the linemen, all these dudes, the defense, the same thing. These were the best of the best. They were the guys that truly outperformed everyone else. They were the pinnacle of the game at the time, and they would get in there. And yes, there was a popular vote aspect, but that seems to have taken a much, much bigger role. And on top of that, we've seen the changes to the game itself. The Pro Bowl used to be a legitimate football game. Now, yes, they would alter the rules a little bit. It is an all-star game. It's not meant to like have these guys' careers be on the line, but they hit each other. They played full contact, pads on, helmets on, actual football games. It was pretty crazy. And there was a time there, if I recall, where it took place after the Super Bowl. So you would still have guys from the Super Bowl rosters that would make these teams. So in every sense, it was an exhibition of the best talent, the best guys from the teams, the best coaches. A lot of times, if I remember right, the coaches were the runners-up. The guys who lost the NFC Championship or AFC Championship got to coach the Pro Bowl team for that side. So there was a lot of reason for fans to watch. It was like the last hurrah for that season. You went through everything, the playoffs, the Super Bowl happened, but then you got that cool, relaxing game where you got to watch all of the coolest, favorite top players in the league play another game, have some fun, show off, and then you kind of wrapped it up and you were moving on to the combine and then the draft and all that stuff in a couple months. Nowadays, I don't know, it's going on now, I suppose. I don't know if the game already played, but besides the fact that the fan vote started to manipulate the whole thing a lot more, which led to it being essentially a popularity contest. You'd have guys that would get snubbed all the time, and it wasn't because there was just too much talent out there. It was because they were picking guys that were like on popular teams, for instance, instead of just the best guys. And then on top of that, they've switched over to flag football. Yeah. The Pro Bowl is now, and it's not even like full teams or anything like that. It's like 6-player teams or something, 5-6 players, and it's flag football. And you see the highlights, you're like, wow, nothing happened there. Like, sure, there's going to be some athletic plays and stuff, but it's just no reason to really pay any attention. The skills challenges are all pretty cool, and that's been around forever. The skills challenges have always been there, but always led up to there being like an actual football game to watch and enjoy. And it's just, I don't know. Unfortunately, it leads to memes about the fact like, yeah, this is the future of the league. When you see the way that things are officiated and we change the rules and players pull out of the Pro Bowl. That's the other aspect too. You don't even have the top guys that are playing for these teams. Tyler Huntley, backup quarterback for the Dolphins. Like, you should not have any backups at all playing in these games. It's two teams. It's the best and the brightest from the two conferences. I think you should be able to pull full teams of starters, but no, for some reason you have Tyler Huntley as a quarterback for the AFC side. So overall, it's just, there's nothing compelling to watch it. I know it actually takes place down here in Florida, which is kind of cool for like, oh, there's an event going on and it's an NFL thing and it's an all-star game, but it's not really the All-Stars. There's not really a football game that happens, and just one of those ones you could just kind of hope the ratings just sink the whole thing. As mentioned before, I watch a lot of YouTube, like way more than your average person. If you are someone who watches a lot of TV shows, for instance, a lot of series on Netflix or Hulu or Max or whatever it is you watch, if you have a lot of shows you watch, if you watch a lot of movies, or then imagine however much time you watch those shows and like multiply it by 5, 10 or so. And that's how much YouTube I consume, because YouTube is like constantly in the background for me. Whether I'm playing video games, working out, working on a project for content, or basically doing anything, YouTube is running, whether it's music, podcasts, documentaries, goofy freaking humorful stuff, like just YouTuber stuff that's weird, gaming stuff. It's constantly running in some way, shape, or form. I love YouTube Premium. I went over to my mom's and turned on a YouTube video to watch with her. We really like this guy, Enes Yilmazar. He does like these crazy home tours, and they're like really, really good, like expensive, crazy stuff in other countries and really expensive, cool stuff. But anyways, I turned on his video, and I think it was like a 40 minute video, and there was like 6 ad breaks or something like that. I was like, holy crap. How do people deal with this? Because I've had YouTube Premium for about a year now, I'm pretty sure, and I will never go back. Anyways, the point here is that I have a very, very in-depth, detailed, wide variety of exposures, if that's the right way to say that, but to YouTube content. A very, very, very wide variety of YouTube content, of creators, streamers, everything. And there is nothing that pisses me off more than people, and it's particularly in gaming, that have to over exaggerate their character. And I understand, like I'm sighing and closing my eyes as I say this, I understand everybody in some way is like a character when they create content creation. They have a persona they create. I try to, as much as possible, just be myself. And the people that I enjoy the most and watch the most are the people that you can kind of tell they're just being themselves. And themselves is interesting, charismatic, and fun, or whatever. There's some reason, professional, you know? Those are the people that I tend to find I watch a lot. So it's not like, and some of them are very, very, very successful. So it's not like it's something that you can't do. The people, though, that turn on this character that's like a clown show, I cannot stand it. I'm not going to mention names here because, as small as I am, I'm technically a YouTuber in the content creation community, and I don't want to do that. But there is a gaming content creator I watch. He will play games solo, and I love those videos. He gets excited about things here and there, but he's also subdued in the sense of, like, you know, he's regular, he's normal, he's even keeled in a lot of senses, but you know, he can get excited or scared or whatever, and that's fine. That's not my issue. But he will play with a couple other people, and for about 5 minutes at a time, they're tolerable, and then they start just going like squawking and screaming, and you're like, these are grown men, like in their 30s and stuff. And they sound like 12-year-old girls, or they sound like dying R2-D2 or something. And you're like, why, bro? You fell off a cliff in a video game, be like, ah, crap, you know, or whatever. Just like you react to it in some way that is not like literally bawling. I don't know. It's so weird. It's so weird, and I don't understand it. Like I said, I do think that there is a level of, when you're doing that kind of content, you have to be somewhat reactionary. You know, because people, if they're not seeing you visually, they're hearing you, and there has to be something for them to feed off of to get that excitement or understand what you're dealing with or coping with in the situation. But even then, like I said, you can do that without literally becoming like dying R2-D2. That's the worst one. But the whole squawking and screaming and just absolutely going off, I will never understand it. And if you ever get into content creation, just genuinely be yourself. You can react to things. You can have like emotional or whatever it is. You know, you can have like an outburst of sorts, but you don't have to be like that.